Bonjour! I keep saying that over and over again. I'm Bianca Valerio and welcome to a very quaint old town here in France. It's called Rouen. I keep saying Rouen, but no, it's Rouen. In this very quaint town of Rouen, what is it known for? Well, for starters, why don't I show you? And right up there is a very holy cross, so holy that it is pretty much like the hallmark of this town. Now, this historical town is known for where Joan of Arc was actually burned at the stake, and it was actually done right there. Now, if you can go all the way back to, let's say, 1345, let's say, bring yourself back to 1345, and let's say you wanted a show and you wanted to see what was happening right in front of you as you are people walking, sitting at a cafe. You would be seated, or I shall say the best seats in the house would be right over there. So that is La Couronne. God, all these French words. Okay, so we'd actually just had lunch there. It is the oldest restaurant in France and one of the oldest restaurants in all of Europe. Now, apart from it being really, really old, it's also quite, how I say, quite important in terms of gastronomic history, right? So Julia Childs, she's that American chef that pretty much brought French cuisine to America. Well, we have this restaurant to thank, La Couronne, because when she ate here, I think in 1948, it blew her socks off, her American socks off, and she said, damn, I gotta bring this to America. And that's exactly what she did. Now, we just had lunch. And how was the food? I mean, you know, when you're part of the Michelin Guide, you have all these, awards. And also when you have a lot of famous celebrities, from the Queen to, Grace Kelly of Monaco, the Princess of Monaco. You know, there's a lot of pressure to live up to. Not gonna lie, although the lobster stew was really good, let me share about that. So this is the lobster stew with champagne, and then this is the shrimp langoustine with gambas with Thai dressing, and this is the lobster burrata with citrus oil. So we're having our lobster with citrus oil. Holy macaroons with bananas. C'est magnifique. The way that it's prepared, it is so spongy and soft, and it is like a pillow of joy in your mouth. And then that citrus oil, it's like a gravy with just a very, very mild hint. Oh, that is incredible. Okay, so I'm gonna try this over here. This is the gambas with langoustine. Langoustine is basically like a baby lobster. Sorry guys, this is not my best effort in taking out the tail. Okay, so this is a langoustine right here. We'll take a little bit of the gambas. And it says it has a Thai dressing. And if you all know me, you have me at Thai dressing. A little taste of Asia, a little taste of home. Okay, I understand what Thai dressing means. It's tamarind. So a little bit sweet with that little bit of tanginess. In terms of how the shrimp was cooked, honestly, it's a little bit tough. However, this one though, my dish, phenomenal. So we have our cannelli right here. Because so it's like a flour at the top and then kind of burnt and crisp at the bottom, but chewy at the center, and it is just amazing. Yeah, I mean, this restaurant is so popular. Like, people are walking by just to have photos, to take photos of the restaurant right outside. It is truly historical, truly intriguing. The architecture is quite stunning. So definitely, whether you're here for a photo or for a meal, gotta see this. The oldest inn in France from 1345, La Couronne. For Catholics, there is a patron saint for almost everything. Now, Saint Joan of Arc, because she died at the stake, apparently she is the patron saint that people pray for a good death. And even for those that you can pray for who've already passed on in life, she is the patron saint for those who are sick or you are dying. And that makes pretty sense, right? She died a heroine. She is admired in the eyes and the hearts of many. And if we can all live a beautiful life, even to the death, who wouldn't want that? So, for those of you who are not aware about the history of the Joan of Arc, so just imagine a little peasant girl starting at the age of about 13. She started to have all these visions of Jesus. She was supposedly told by God or by Jesus that she would lead the French army into victory against England. And that exactly is what happened. I mean, I'm just making the long story short. Now, she is actually the patron saint of France. And not only of France, but she is also a symbol of feminism, of gender equality, of women's rights, and the women empowerment. She, I believe, is the youngest martyr in France. I can't really say for the whole world, but definitely she died for her faith, believing in her faith, and even proclaiming her faith. Even up to the death, she was still proclaiming her faith and love for Jesus, for God, and God bless her. So whether you are Catholic, it doesn't even matter what religion you are. Let's not forget the message, despite the underlying of whatever religion it is. The underlying message is whatever it is that you believe in, and it is at your core, it is at your soul, and it is something that you're willing to stand for and die for, and you know that it is for the good, then you do that. If it resonates with your soul, if you're not hurting anybody, and if it is bringing out the best in other people, then good on you. So yeah, sometimes your experiences in different countries are not exactly what you had hoped for, but that's not to say they still can't be enjoyable. There's a perfect view of the clock tower right now. It's actually, although the light is still up, it's actually about 7:30 p.m. The stores have already closed. We've spent the day. We arrived at our beautiful, beautiful hotel, which is actually one of the highlights of the city. I think every place you visit in Europe, there's always going to be that one church that will be at like the very center of the old town. And Rouen is definitely one of them. Now, Rouen is actually the capital of Normandy. We are headed to Mont Saint-Michel. And yeah, coming from Brussels, we're just making a pit stop over here, because coming from Brussels, it's about 6.5 to 7 hours by drive getting to Mont Saint-Michel. And that's a long drive. You kind of don't want to, we're taking a private tour, by the way. And you know, you don't want to be wasting your time the whole time in a car or in a van. So the best way to do it is actually do your research. Try to find a town or a certain place that you could do maybe a pit stop for 1 or 2 days, get to discover that town, get your rest, see the sights, eat some good food, learn some history, and add some checks to those bucket lists. course, since this is or was the capital, was the capital of Normandy, having been the capital, you would expect that there would be some palatial or government building of sorts, whether it was medieval or modern, and this is what it is. Right now, it's actually called the Palace of Justice. It used to be a royal palace back in, I'm not really sure, but now because it's closed already and I honestly don't know much about it. But yeah, I'm gonna be flashing some little trivia so that we all get to learn. So it's a little past 8 p.m. and we were looking for a place to have a drink. So we decided, why bother trying to find all these different places all around town that's packed? As you guys can see, nearly every restaurant with al fresco dining, all just, you know, taking the views in and the vibe. And yeah, definitely, it's lovely. But why not actually have a drink in your own hotel? You know, you've got some live, relaxing music. You actually have access to the hotel, because a lot of the videos that we've seen online where there are people, you know, who vlog about this place, but they only enter right up until that courtyard and not actually inside the door because they're not guests. And here we are trying to find a place outside when we can actually enjoy it right here. Guys, I have zero knowledge on wine, but Hugo was nice enough because I couldn't decide which wine to taste, so we have wine number 1, which is something. Super sweet. Wine number 2, but that was good. Very dry. And wine number 3. We have a winner.
Okay.
The third one, it's always the last one, is thank you, Hugo.
It's the sincère.
That one in French.